for the invite to come here tonight. It's great to sort of hear all of what's brought you here, and I hope it's nice to sort of share this sort of moment of like coming together and the start of the journey. So so my name's Rob. I'm the advocacy officer with Peace Brigades International here in London. I've been involved with PBI for 5 years, maybe a bit more than 5 years, 5.5 years, starting as a volunteer in the office, and then I was a volunteer in Colombia for 1 year back in 2009. Since then, I've been the advocacy officer in London, so I represent not just our work in Colombia, but also our work in Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras, and now in Kenya. So my Colombia experience has diluted a bit over the years, but hopefully I can be of use tonight. So PBI's work, for those who don't know, our mandate is to provide support and protection for human rights defenders at risk. Our sort of tagline is making space for peace, and that's through our different protection tools. Our aim is to allow human rights defenders to be able to do their work with greater effectiveness and with more security. We do that in various ways, most classically by sending teams of international volunteers who will physically accompany human rights activists who are at risk for whatever they're doing, and to provide that kind of international witness to their work. And that's linked up with quite sort of targeted advocacy work, both in the countries where we work and in our London office and in other offices around the world, and communications work to raise awareness about the difficulties that defenders face and some of their solutions for making better societies as well. So PBI has been in Colombia for 20 years. It's 20 years this year that we're marking that. And that was, at the invitation of a few organizations in the 1990s, when it was an extremely difficult time to do that work. And we're still accompanying some of those original organizations, so we tend to develop kind of quite long-term partnerships of solidarity with those groups. Currently, we have, I wish I had the map to show, but we have 2 regional teams in smaller regional cities in Barranca Bermeja and Apartado. I'm not sure if finally you will end up going to either of those, but they're quite sort of 2 epicenters of both the armed conflict, many of the sort of social issues present there. And we have a support office in Bogota as well, which I'm sure you'll get to meet my colleagues over there. I'll probably invite you around for lunch at some point. Okay, so I didn't quite know where to pitch it, because I know that people are coming from different backgrounds, so I thought we'd start off with, I've been asked to talk about human rights defenders and lawyers, so I thought maybe we could just sort of pool a bit of knowledge to begin with about the subject, and in true PBI style, we'll do that in a little activity. So I think we'll probably divide the room in 2. So maybe for the people, the newer people to the caravan, I'm going to ask you to answer 5 questions between you, probably about 2 minutes for each question, a bit of a brainstorm, and then we'll come back and share what we've got. So maybe if at least one person could write down the questions now, a scribe. Okay, so the first question, and yeah, okay. So the first question, what types of human rights defenders are there? So just feel free, there's no wrong answers, brainstorm. Second question, what are the day-to-day activities of human rights defenders? What do you think they are? The third question, why are human rights defenders at risk? What reasons might they be at risk? I mean, you can think about Colombia, but think about more broadly, and then we'll bring it back to the particular Colombian context. The fourth question, what groups and individuals are likely to attack or undermine human rights defenders and their work? And the final question, what do you think are some of the most common trends or common patterns of repression against human rights defenders? Okay. Did we get all of those, or should I go over some again?